Hey, I just thought of something. So, here's a little short video that I want to do about my three favorite memories. You'll only get this if you subscribe. So, you're getting this now because you subscribed. And these are going to be my three favorite memories of at least my three favorite memories of Kadet football that I left out of the 2 hour show from 81 to 87, I should say. And so my first favorite memory is kind of like over the years a little bit because I don't think I went to this game when I was 13 years old or whatever, 14. I don't think I was at the Widefield Air Academy game, but what's a really cool memory is a couple of different times over the years I heard about this game in 1981, and it was against Widefield, and it was Widefield had Daryl Clack, who went to the NFL, and everybody knew he was going to the NFL. Played in the Big Eight, I think, and was a blue chip running back. Couldn't be stopped, right? So Air Academy went into this game. Barnett had a defensive game plan, and the story that I remember, the first-hand account that I remember the most, because there was a couple of times that I heard about this game, was from Bruce Lockwood when I was at Fort Lewis, and we were roommates during 2-a-days, which was pretty much 3-a-days, in Durango. Bruce was my roommate. He was also a defensive lineman on this team in 81. Ended up going to Air Academy. His brother Dal played at Missouri. And he told the story of this game being, so they go into this game knowing that Daryl Clack was a blue chip running back and was running rampant over the league. Rampant, not rampart. I said rampant. Okay. And I'm going to paraphrase Lockwood, but he said something to the effect like, yeah, we slapped the shit out of Clack that game. And he didn't know where he was. He got up and he couldn't find his own sideline, and so something about them literally helping Clack to his sideline because he was going the wrong way or whatever. And so I read this article, and it was a Kadet victory. What, 16-0, I think? And right here in the middle of the article, it says, while the Kadet offense sputtered most of the night, the defense and a timely clipping penalty on Widefield kept our academy in the game. The Kadet defense held the Gladiators' Daryl Clack to just 68 yards on 19 carries. Remember, Clack typically would have probably 150 yards in most of his games, while forcing Widefield to fumble 4 times. A Clack fumble, his first of 2, clue, at midfield led to the Kadets' first score. It took the Kadets just 3 plays to score following the fumble recovery. And then it goes on to say, Widefield, however, came right back to score an apparent touchdown when Clack broke loose on a 60-yard jaunt, but there was a clip on that play. So it's just easier to see that story reading this article and remembering Bruce telling that story about this game at Fort Lewis during 2-a-days. Really cool memory. There's a couple other memories that I have. I don't know if it's gonna translate in the Gazelle or not. So, but I'm gonna try. I'm going to look for the homecoming game against Palmer because one of my favorite memories was from that game. Palmer? Come on. Oh, shut up. I know what year I'm looking for. This should be it. No, it's not. That's... What is that, a soccer game? Let's see. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I guess I should edit the search just a tad to include, I don't know, Mike Roof. There you go, Mike Roof. Here's your chance. See if you can help out the team. Penalty shot. What's going on here? Is this a soccer game or a hockey game? Let's see what this is. This looks misleading. This is the game against Rampart. I don't need that. Why are you on my screen? This is the one against... It's going to end up being a non-article. So I guess I'll just tell the story. So it's the homecoming game against Palmer that the Gazelle decided not to upload, apparently. And we are beating Palmer something like 32-16. Just dominating. And there was a second down play where there was a penalty. There had been a first down play where there was like a 2-yard run. So we had 3rd down and 18. So they ended up with a holding penalty or something after gaining a couple of yards. So 3rd down and 18. It's late in the game. We're winning 32-16. And I get a bright idea. Like a light bulb goes off over the top of my head, which works on 2 levels. Number one, I want you to notice the lighting that I'm using. I was inspired last night about when the lights went out, the lightning strike. I thought it was a better look. I don't want you to get too good of a look at my face because it's not a lot of fun looking at this face, this one right here. Number two, it works on another level because the lights in District 20 Stadium kind of questionable. There's like spots on that field. You can't see shit. There was one right over near or in the north end zone. Anyway, 3rd and 18. I get the bright idea. We had worked on stunts in practice the week before, the 2 weeks before, and they were teaching us how to do that. And instantly, after the second down play, I turned to Jonovan DeSimone, who's my defensive end right next to me. And I told him, I said, hey, let's stunt on this play. You go inside and hit my guy. I'm going to go right off your outside shoulder to the quarterback because this is going to be a passing play. And so he goes, yeah, yeah, okay, whatever. And he does. So ball snaps. Jonovan cuts down on my guy, the offensive guard, and I looped outside of Jonovan's outside shoulder. And sure enough, the tackle had bit on Jonovan coming down on my guard. And so he was gone. And I just went right off of, right by the tackle towards the quarterback. And the quarterback had to take a couple more steps back than he wanted to, because not only was my stunt working, but Chris DiPaolo was coming on a blitz. And so we had a sweet little pass rush going on. And sure enough, myself and Chris DiPaolo, really good lifelong friends, number 44 for your Kadets in 1984, we meet at the quarterback at the same time and ended up with a sack on that play. So it ended up being 4th and 29 or some shit. And I got to do my Gastineau dance. If you remember Mark Gastineau, I always wanted to do the Gastineau dance. And so that was my opportunity, and I did. My best variation of the Mark Gastineau sack dance, I did it right there on that field in 1984. I can't believe it's not in here, though. Kadets Palmer, Mike Roof. Let me look one more time. So, it's not in here. I give up. It wasn't in November, that's for sure. So I guess I'm going to blow that one off. My third favorite memory comes in 1987. So 87, I'm 20 years old, fall of 87, and I meet up with Mike May. Now this is pretty much Thanksgiving week, so I think he's back from CSU. And we take a road trip to the Loveland Air Academy playoff game in Longmont. And we go up there in my Cavalier Z24. Sweet ride. Cherry red. And we take in that game against Loveland. And so my personality is like, I'm into the game. Mike probably into the cheerleaders, if I remember correctly. Not too weird, because there was some problems. Easily some 18-year-old cheerleaders on the sideline, and we're still 20. So, but I'm into the game. I'm following every play, and I'm pretty sure Mike is distracted. If there were cell phones back then, he would be in his phone probably. But anyway, so I go down. It's the fourth quarter, and it is the last minute or so, and Loveland ends up inside the 10. And so there's an open end to this. Well, it's not like it's not like a horseshoe stadium, but the parking lot side of the stadium, if I remember correctly, had a fence, and the track went right around the fence, and you could stand there. You could walk over there because that's how you got to the parking lot. And so I walked over there for these last 4 plays and stood right behind the end zone and watched that goal line stand. And so if I can find that game, Loveland from 87. There it is. That should be my search parameters, you would think. Nethercott. We have a Mark Nethercott sighting. I think it's going to be this one, though. Here it is. So, zoom. And by 87, the Gazelle is already a better newspaper. Look at this. It just looks better. So thanks, Gazelle, for not being a good newspaper in 84, other than Ralph Roughton. So here's that game. I'm sure it's going to have a lot to do with the goal line stand. It was a scintillating victory, however, though. That's clear right here. So we're talking about Patterson Stadium. And there's a reference to Chris Baker. So Chris Baker made the big defensive play in this game. Goes on to say, Baker sacked Indian quarterback Ron Rivera at the Kadet 6-yard line as time ran out. Rivera, who passed for 123 yards in the first half, had the Indians poised at the Kadet 4 with 6 seconds left. So I'm standing essentially 10 yards from the end zone, just taking this in. And it was pretty intense. That was a really good view. And I got a first-hand account of 1987 style Kadet football. And I know Will McCombs was a linebacker on that team. I think Tashe Williams was maybe a sophomore, but he was like 6'4", 220. And I was actually hired by a scouting agency to recruit him best I could back in. I don't know how I hooked up with that. I think there was an article in the paper. Not an article, a job listing. Anyway, so a couple of plays earlier, I tried to be an all-star and make the big play. I lined up too wide and they hooked me and made a first down, said Baker, who was alluding to a 10-yard run by Loveland's Darren Svensson. There's a Viking name for you. On 2nd and 10 at the Kadet 20-yard line. On the last play, I lined up where I was supposed to be. I hit my man and then went in. He, Rivera, was right there. Usually he'd drop back deeper. I made the first hit, and then I think Dave Anderson finished him off. So there's a shout out to Dave Anderson. And then Mike Roof says that's why he's in there. And said he did the same thing at Sierra. By the way, the Sierra game, maybe the second best memory of 87. I took 2 of my co-workers to the homecoming game. I don't think I'm mixing up the fact that the homecoming game was Sierra that year. I think it was. I could be wrong. But we went to that game, and it was pretty much number 1 versus number 2 in most of the state, if not the state. You know, maybe Broomfield or whatever. But we went to that game. Both of my coworkers played for Sierra in 84. Mike Bragg and Sean Oakletree. So I ended up working with these guys and slowly found out that they both played on Sierra's team in 84. And so we had all kinds of shit to talk. And we went into that game, we bet like a beer truck on that game. And like if Air Academy won, I got 1 beer truck. And if Sierra won, I had to give each of them a beer truck. So that's like 1 beer truck versus 2 beer trucks. So damn good thing that we won that game against Sierra and Jim Smelser, who also likes cheerleaders, by the way. So that's it. Those are my 3 favorite memories. Thank you for subscribing, because obviously that's the only reason why you were able to watch this video. And I'm sure you're not regretting that, because it didn't cost you any money. All it costed you was a click. So, appreciate that. Stay tuned for more videos. Maybe I'll remember more things and make more, like, subscription videos. You think? All right. Thanks, guys. Peace.